Hello. Okay. All right, guys, girls, y'all, everybody. I am really excited about this. Okay. I am gonna put this here, and I promise. Hi, Annie. Oh, my loyal live attender. I love you so much. Okay, let's see. Can you hear me? And I promise, I told you guys I was gonna do better at reading the what are they called? The comments, and I am going to. So, can you hear me? Oh, actually, let me put these in because I feel like it's better. I actually don't know if it is. Okay. Tell me if you can hear me. I don't know how to see the comments. That's real. Okay. I feel like there's no comments right now. So will you do me a favor and just tell me if you can hear me? Or do hearts or something since I can't find the comments. I don't know. Hi, there it is. Okay. Happy Tuesday. Ooh, ooh. You like my hair? It's so fun. I like rings. Oh my God. Aren't they the best? I got them on Amazon and they were like $16. Like amazing. It was so fucking cool. I love them. They had other colors too, but my boyfriend's obsessed with black. So everything in our house, except for like my corner over there. Oh, well, he took it down. I have my manifest sign, but he's like total black everything. And I'm like, rainbow, beautiful. So yeah, we're very different. Okay. So I am excited about this one, you guys. It feels like a lot of people are like hating social media, or they're just like, I need a break or whatever. And so I think that, okay, so last week we went in like very surface level and for screen everything. I love it. Surface level for, how to stop feeling gross online. This is going to go a lot deeper because it's so, I don't, like, I think like this is a massive component. Like, I think that we're like, oh, I'm going to start an online business. In our mind, we don't really realize, one, how much we're on social media anyways. Two, that being on social media for your business is very different than being on social media to socialize. And when we don't have like clear lines and they get blurred, we get overwhelmed, we get triggered, and there's no fucking boundaries, and you're just like, fuck everything, burn it to the ground, I'm out. And I really hope that this can help you guys create some awareness, but also like maybe shift your thinking and how. I'm really hoping, because I said it in the last live, like there isn't any shame in like saying like, fuck off, I'm taking time for myself and I'm not documenting this or putting this on social media. Like there's no shame in taking breaks from social media. But I think the issue lies when we don't have boundaries. And I'm going to go into that today. And so I hope you guys love this because I'm really excited about it. I feel like it's so needed right now. So without further ado, and I can see your comments. So I am going to be practicing my, what is that? Where you do more than, I can't think of the word that when you do more than one thing at once. Multitasking. Okay, we know words. Okay, so I want you guys to hear this with an open mind and know, one, there's no judgment, there's no shame. If anything I bring up, you guys are like, oh, that feels personal. Like, these are things that I've gone through. These are lessons that I've had to like wade through and like sit in, and awkwardness. And like, had I known it, I feel like things could have moved along faster. I don't feel like this is one of those things that you need to like be in the muck and mire and like fucking figure it out by yourself. If someone just shines a light and is like, hey, that is not the way. This is one of those things. So I hope that you guys will just hear this with an open mind and just receive it in whatever way. And if it doesn't resonate, just tell me to fuck off, and we're good with that too. So how you can change your relationship with social media. Okay, so I created notes for this because that's what I do. And they're all over the place because that's also what I do. So if I'm like jumping around, then just open to receiving. I love you. Okay, if I'm jumping around, that's just because my notes are all over the place. So I want to start with this part and changing your ways to change your relationship with social media. So the first thing, and if you have a pen, I'm gonna give you guys a couple like questions to write down. If you don't have a pen, or you can put it in your notes app, or you can just whatever. I'll put it in the comments later. So one of the things that is like the overarching theme is intentional and limited consumption. We're all somewhere on the spectrum of hold on, sorry. I am going to do not disturb because I do not want to be disturbed. Okay. We are all on the spectrum of consumption. Some of us are way over here, like fucking checking our messages and dinging and all the notifications and everything, and that's totally perfect and fine. And then some of us are over here and we're like, I don't want to see it, get out of my face. No, social media is bad. Wherever you land on this spectrum is perfect. Because if you're way over here and you're always on it, that's not any better or worse than somebody who can't be on it for a second because it's just triggering and whatever. So the first thing is intentional and limited consumption. One of the biggest things for me was learning just that like piece of like intentional time. So like just knowing that like, okay, I'm going to be intentional on social media. It kind of like gives the boot to like mindless scrolling. And there's like no shame. Like I'm guilty of mindless scrolling, but if you have that in your mind of like, oh, okay, I'm going on here to be intentional, you're less likely to just like plop on the couch and like fucking scroll. So keep that in mind, is intentional and limited consumption. And here's 3 questions that I like to ask myself, and you can write these down for later or whatever, and I'll put them in the comments. But the first thing is, am I creating more than I'm consuming? And this can punch you in the gut, because sometimes, like, I try to keep that in the forefront of my mind, but usually when that question pops up in my mind, it's like I've been not creating more than I've been consuming. In fact, I've been consuming a fuck ton. And so, excuse me, that is a really, really potent question to ask yourself. And again, there's no shame. It's just awareness. Okay. So how much am I consuming? Am I creating more than I'm consuming? And by creating, I mean, not just creating content, but like ideas and just being a creator in your life versus like consuming what other people are creating. So you don't necessarily need to be like doing or making anything. Okay, so am I creating more than I'm consuming? And in the vein of consuming, what value is this adding to my life? So what value is this adding to my life? And that question is fucking powerful as well. These are all really powerful. But when you ask yourself that, it's really like, bing, like, oh shit, this is adding zero value to me. And then the second one is, how do I feel after consuming it? Okay, so is it adding value? Yes. Okay, so you get a yes answer. But how do I feel after consuming it? And I'll be honest with you, like, there are some coaches who I fucking love. I love. Okay, their medicine is potent. They're amazing creators, and I look up to them. And there's times when I feel like shit after consuming their content because I'm in a weird whatever, and it has nothing to do with them or what they're creating. It's just right now in this moment, it's not the value, it's adding value because I'm learning and whatever, but it's I'm not ready to consume that in that moment. So those 3 questions are very, very helpful to keep you intentional when you're consuming. So am I creating more than I'm consuming? What value is this adding to my life? And how do I feel after consuming X? So if you know that you're someone who's prone to over consuming, and you know this about yourself, you have that piece of awareness, I strongly suggest setting a timer or even a limit on your phone and only allowing yourself like, okay, 30 minutes of mindless scrolling, period. I mean, the time that I'm saying, like 30 minutes, whatever, I'm not trying to like limit you on whatever. I'm just saying, like, for example, set a timer like, okay, if I'm going to mindlessly scroll 30 minutes or 15 minutes or what the hell ever, because that is going to help, because it's really easy to jump into, okay, I'm going to take a break, and then an hour later of your break and you've, whatever. So setting a timer has been fucking one of the most, it's so simple, and it is so fucking, like, dare I say, life-changing. I have ADHD, and I know a lot of y'all in my group do as well. So timers and alarms are like, thank you, Lord. So if you're not using a timer, scrolled and didn't actually take a break. Exactly. And it's not anything like, it doesn't mean anything. We're just human. We get lost in time, and that's part of it. And so when we have that awareness, like, I remember the first time when I started getting on TikTok for my business, I didn't know anything about it. I went on, and it was the very first time, and I got sucked in an hour and a half. I don't know where the time went, but it was like, whoa. Yeah. So like, I get it. And that's why for me, like, it is not even a question. Like, I set a timer anytime I go in without an intention. And I mean, you can even do that. Like, yeah, I like that. So anytime you're going in without an intention on social media, set a timer. When in doubt, set a timer. Okay. So in that same vein, do make sure that whatever you are consuming, again, is adding value to, is feeding your mind and your soul, and is not making you feel like shit. So this goes back to the question, is it adding value, and how do I feel after consuming it? And this is, unless you're like, you already know a part of this, you're gonna learn this by trial and error. So as you consume something, you're gonna have to look back and say, okay, how did that make me feel? Or, hey, I feel like shit after this. And then unfollow, mute, whatever. So, I mean, if you know it now and you can go through and like clear out your followers or like mute or whatever, that's really super helpful. And I tend to do that obviously I'm restarting on my Instagram, but prior to that, I would just go a little bit at a time. And like, if I see something that I'm like, I don't really want that in my awareness right now, a mute. You don't have to unfollow. You don't have to like break up with someone. Just take a little break. Just take a little break. And if it's not adding value, then unfollow them. Like, it's not a personal attack. And that is something that I think we tend to look at, like, unfollowing is not a personal attack on you, and it's not a personal attack on that person. It's just boundaries, okay? And you are not required to allow people into your awareness who don't add value, or you feel like shit after being around them or watching their stuff or whatever. Like, yes, people get their feelings hurt when you unfollow or whatever, but that's not your problem. And if you look at it like boundaries versus like a personal attack or whatever, it removes that like emotion from it. I'm doing this to protect my energy. I'm doing this to protect whatever. So I got like ahead because I like to talk. So is it feeding your mind and your soul and not making you feel like shit? So in order to do that, you have to be really fucking honest with yourself. And why am I following this person? Do they add value to my life in some way? If the answer is no, unfollow them. If the answer is yes, but they're triggering you, simply take a break by hiding their posts and stories. And this isn't punishment, okay? This is not like, oh, I can't control my watching or whatever. Like, this is just being intentional with your time and energy so you can put more towards what you love, like your business, and also feel like a badass doing it. Like, yeah, sure, you can run your business and like have all these triggering things around you, but you're going to be stressed. You're going to eventually get burnt out. You're going to hate what you're doing. So if you can put up these boundaries and like separate and remove the emotional component, it's going to be so much easier to say like, okay, I'm going in here to do X and then I'm getting out. And, you know, it's for your business rather than something personal. And that, let me see, So what you take in on a daily basis is going to have a huge effect on how you feel throughout the day and how you feel about yourself, which will in turn affect how you show up on social media, or if you do at all, and will then affect your business. So it's just like a trickle down effect. And let me go to this next one, and then I won't want to talk more. Okay, so again, this is not a mindfulness class or like what you should and shouldn't do with your time, with your free time. But I'm here to tell you, if you are not very, very intentional about what you allow into your awareness, you will have a hard time being on social media to run your business, which is what I just said. So that brings me to my next point. You are going to, or at least I will invite you to, I'm not going to tell you what to do, shift the way that you see social media, okay? You are a business owner, or at least if you're here, you would like to be a business owner, I assume. If not, you can listen to this as well. So these platforms are your place of business and where you cultivate beautiful relationships with potential clients. I am not trying to remove the human component to your business or anyone's business, but there needs to be a clear line, the clearest line you've ever seen in your life between who you are as a human that uses social media to socialize and who you are as a business owner who uses social media as a tool. These platforms are tools for you to build, grow, and market your online business. So, okay. With that said, when you shift your mindset from this is a place for me to socialize and see what other people are doing to, okay, I'm going on for X amount of time to sell whatever, or I'm going on for X amount of time to build relationships. Again, going in with intention. It's in the difference is like, and so I have like this terrible analogy or metaphor or whatever, but if you look at it like a tool, so if you're a carpenter and you're using a tape measure, what are the odds that you're going to get triggered or offended or emotional about that tape measure? Chances are you're not, right? Like, you're not going to, because that's dumb, that's a tool, right? Like, when you look at social media in the same way, social media is simply a tool that you have in your tool belt for building your business, period. Okay? And in fact, you don't even have to use social media. Like, there are some people I know in the group who are like, I don't even want to be on social media. That's fine. This is where shifting the way that you see social media is going to be pivotal, because again, look at it like a tool. Forget the fact that people go on there to socialize and it's annoying and whatever, like any, insert whatever reason you don't want to be on social media, and simply look at it as a tool, a spreadsheet, a Word doc, anything that you could use. That's what social media is. And when you remove that personal component, it makes it a lot easier to get on and get out. And it doesn't mean anything about you. And when you go in with intention, you're less, I'm not going to say you're not, but you're less likely to be drained, be triggered, be any of those things that social media does to us. Because let's be honest, it's a lot of energy and a lot of place and a lot of things going on. And it's really fucking easy to just be completely drained and yeah, it can feel gross. But when you go in with intention and you separate the emotional part of it and you use it as a tool, that's when you're able to stop seeing it as like social media and seeing it as like, okay, this is a way for me to build my business. If I'm gonna have an online business, I've got to be online. And yeah, so those are the two things. It's like being intentional with your time and shifting from seeing it as a place to socialize or any way that you've seen it before that doesn't support the use for your business. Like, throw that out and see, okay, this is just my tool to build, market, and grow my business. And then with that said, a couple of things that have really, really helped me to implement these two things that we just talked about is, the first one, obviously, setting timers. I love timers and I will use timers forever. It helps me be intentional and whatever. You will get more time. If you are losing time in your business or you're losing time on social media, you will get more time. You could show up on social media every single day, and if you're doing it with intention, you'll get back time in your life. I promise. I guarantee you. I will guarantee that statement. So that's one of the things. And then this is kind of the same thing, but it's more specific, and this is what I think, things that I've learned in programs that I've taken and my business coach. And if you haven't taken a business class or you haven't learned this specific, it's totally fine. What I learned is like, okay, so you spend a certain amount of time building relationships or, following people who are your soulmate clients. Set a timer to do that. Set a timer to build relationships in the DMs. Set a timer to interact with people's content. That's a fucking big one, y'all. Okay? Because again, there needs to be a line between a line and an intention. I'm going in to interact with people's content. You need to do that so you can so they can see your content and so they can see your pretty face. I'm not a business coach, FYI, star, Astrid, whatever, disclaimer. But there's certain things that you need to do each day or, however often you want to put that time in, but setting the timers to do that. And if you go in without an intention, without a timer, chances are you're going to cross the line into consuming. So using these timers and using intention, it just helps with the humanness. Like, it's super easy for a very huge majority of us to just, the algorithm shows us what we like, and the more we see it, the more we want to do it. So it's not shame or anything. It's just awareness and intentionality and setting constraints on yourself so you don't lose time. And yeah, so that is what I wanted to talk to you guys about. That, and then I wanted to kind of circle back around between, actually, hold on. Is this landing? Is this landing, or is there any like questions or anything that you have? You just take a break. I tend to just like talk. Yes, landing. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I wanted to circle back around just real quick. I won't make this super long. I think all of these have been 30 minutes. We all know I could talk forever, but I wanted to circle back around to what I talked about last week in terms of, I'm sorry. You're perfect. Thank you. I'm just glad you're here. Okay. I wanted to circle back around to what we talked about last week, and that was making your page, your space, your own. So changing your relationship with social media is a must. And making it your own, making it to fit someone else's idea it just doesn't feel good. It might feel cool and new in the beginning, but trust me, make it your own. If you're just starting out or you're kind of in a weird lull, veer off the fucking tracks. Just veer off the tracks and make it your own. So these two components of changing your relationship with social media, giving yourself constraints and being intentional with your time, and making it your own, falling in love with what you're doing is going to give you energy, and it's going to give you the drive to show up regularly. And I don't want to say every day, because I never want to put it in your guys' head that I think everyone needs to show up every day. Some people love it. My coach loves it. I love it. There's nothing wrong with it if you do show up every day or you don't, but it's going to make it a lot easier to be consistent regularly if you love what you're doing. And it's coming from a place of, I can't fucking wait to share this with the world, or like, this is me and I want you to see it. And if you're not there, I want you to just put a little whatever, a pause, a whatever on the content and figure out what you love. And we did a Pinterest board of like, it was like a branding Pinterest board. A couple, I know you know Annie, and you were there, and it was so much fun. Go back and watch the live from a couple of weeks ago, and that couple, finding what you love, finding what you forget about everything else, figuring out what you love and sharing it with the world is going to give you energy and drive to show up regularly. So, and I wrote, your page is yours, though it's not private, you still get to make the rules and boundaries, okay? Oh, yes. You get to make the rules and boundaries, and you get to choose who stays and who goes and what feels like a fuck yes and what doesn't. You're a ruleress of this magic land, and if something isn't working or feels gross to you, you have the power to change it. You are not required to love something today that you loved last week, period. If it's not lighting you up, you have the power to change it, and you're allowed to be fluid. I heard or saw a post that it said your brand can be as fluid as you. That to me was the most freeing statement I have ever heard, because I'm like, oh my God, like I was talking to somebody earlier today, and we were talking about just this, about how it felt to me when I was choosing things for my business, like, holy shit, like, oh, this is in concrete now if I make this decision. And that is so not true. You are allowed to change your mind. You're allowed, as you grow this business, this isn't a 9 to 5. It doesn't just stay the same all the freaking time. You know, this isn't Amazon. This is your business. You are a human, and you are growing and changing every fucking day. What you love today is going to be vastly different, or at least it most likely will be vastly different from what you liked a year ago. When I look at my content from a year ago, yeah, the message is the same, but holy shit, I'm like, what? And that's okay. It's okay for you to change your mind. And in fact, it's necessary. It's necessary for you to, what else? It's not just, I want to play. Yes, exactly. And your people will just, they'll eat it up. They will eat it up, because no one's looking for a cookie cutter coach, somebody who is perfect, who just, okay, maybe they are. Let me just like backtrack. Maybe they are, but if you're in this room right now and you're on this live, chances are that's not who you are, and that's not who your people are looking for. So I got off on a way fucking tangent, but if you're not loving social media right now, and nobody's looking for a cookie cutter. Yes, that's not us, y'all. Yes. Make it your own. Post what you want to post. Talk about what the fuck you want to talk about. You don't have to talk about, you can talk about, I posted this like a couple months ago. It's like, you can be a spiritual coach, and you can be hood, and you can be, scientific. You can be all different. You don't have to, just because you show up one way doesn't mean you can't show up another way. And this is a whole nother whatever tangent, but like, make social media your own, and it's your home, and it's not, you're not building this based off of somebody else. You're building it from your heart and you're building it with love, and be gentle with yourself. Like I could be a whole masterclass. Oh my God. Yeah. Literally. So just be gentle with yourself and know that like you're human. Like that's one of my biggest things is like when we start building these business, we fucking forget that we're human. We are humans who are going through our own shit, and we are, a lot of us, going through our own shit, processing this shit while we're building and growing these businesses online in front of the world. So just give yourself some grace and know that like any decision that you make is not set in stone. That's my favorite thing about all of this. It's not set in stone. It's not permanent. And yes, me too. I'm like, I feel so light and like sassy. Thank you. Yeah, just be easy with yourself. And like when it starts to feel gross, get back to basics. Put your blinders on and like, what am I doing? What do I need right now? Because chances are what you need is what your humans are craving right now. So stop trying to mind read what is expected of you and like, okay, what do I need? Or what was alive for me 5 minutes ago or like 5 days ago? Chances are, oh no. Hello? Sorry. Oh no! Technical difficulty. I hope you can still hear me. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I had my headphones in the whole time, so I thought it would make it sound better, and they were connected to my computer and not on my phone. Oh my God. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. I love you guys, but I just lost my train of thought. This was really fun, and thank you guys for loving my humanness. I will put the 3 questions that I said at the beginning, I will put them in the comments, and yeah. I love you guys. Bye. Your earrings are so dang cute. Oh my gosh, they're zippers. I've had them for so long and they match my earrings. This is like my favorite color. Boop, boop. Love you guys. Bye.